Recently I was told that by somebody about my Azza gt1 review, very fast after the video actually, that I did not review it too nicely and that I should go back and definitely revise my work. Which I can agree with them on that, and I can say that it was a pretty fast review. But now I just kind of want to capitalize some of the nice features that they added in this case. So most of the time, whenever I get a case, or whenever I build a case for somebody, I have to look up the diagram of how to connect all the little connectors all over again. And what's really nice about Azza's GT1 is right here, you see that the AC97 and the audio, as well as the front panel connectors, like for USB 3.0. Of course, 3.0 and USB are easy to install, but they have all the front panel connectors together and easy to connect and do up. I mean, even these guys here, your reset power and HDD, they're all together, and you don't have to connect a bunch of ones and stuff. It's very nice and effective. Another one I like is that right here you can see that there is this fan powered by Molex. And one thing that I really hate about fans powered by Molex is that you always have to get an extra long strip to power those fans. But what they've done here is they've made the fan have a male and a female, so you can keep on routing them up. And there's even enough cord in between this 90mm and 120mm fan to connect them up. What makes it even better is their extra hot swap controller here. Now there's only one spot truly for the hot swap, and it only comes with one instead of the two that come on the Genesis series, which I am personally alright with because I'll only be hot swapping one hard drive, and if I want more of them, I'll set up RAID with a RAID controller or something like that. But anyways, one thing that's really nice about this controller is it's powered by Molex. Probably thinking, what's that significance? You can chain these guys together from your Molex connection. And another one that I thought is they have a couple fans in here that are of these leads. So by that what I mean is the bottom 140mm fan and the top 230mm fan both have these pinned connectors. Now they only did it for one of these, but I'd personally say that I want to connect one of these so that I have a spot on my motherboard, because I'm going to be taking up a lot of fans and I don't want to buy a fan hub right away. Well, they include a fan connector on your freaking RAID thing, so you can take your 230mm fan and plug it in right there. And now you only have one to deal with. And so most motherboards will have like one or two or more, and now the motherboard will only have to use one, so that's pretty nice. So it utilizes a lot of features that I really like. It's got some nice capacitors on here, stuff like that, little activity light, and it's just so nice of them to think of this. Most people don't have good opinions about the GT1. I personally have found that it's a decent case, except for some of the shoddy things. I mean, sadly, my screen came, or not my screen, my glass window came a bit scratched. But honestly, from my point of view, that's not too bad. It's just a tiny little scratch, a minor scratch that can be fixed. But another cool thing is they include little screws on each one of your PCI brackets. So it's not one of those annoying PCI locks where it just strips over all these and they dangle around in there. Each one can be tightened, and they're all in there individually and nice and sturdy, so they don't dangle around. Like on one of my builds back behind me, the PCI guys dangle around because instead of having screws that go through them, it's a single lock, and it does not do its job effectively. Also, another thing that I'm just going to do a discussion about right now is this little piece that little square down there that you see right next to the power supply. And no, that is not for this power supply right here, which you're supposed to unscrew the grill whenever you're ready for the power supply to be back there. It is actually for another power supply at the front. Now, one thing is, there's no little guy there to hook it into. And one thing I actually found out is if you go onto a standard monitor or a power supply and you take this out, it aligns up first perfectly with the gap, and it aligns up perfectly with the screws, which is really nice for whenever I want to install this. And you're probably wondering, how are you supposed to run the cable back there? So you take one of these cables, probably not as long as this one. Well, it's just a couple cables, but you take this end and you cut it off, and you take these 3 cables and solder them on. Of course, there's going to be a bit of solder on here from dangling the old cables off, so if you don't have solder around, you just have a heat gun or something, you can use the solder that's been pre-applied. Pretty nice. I mean, I'm not too disappointed or sad about that missing, but I like that they include that there so you don't have to drill it or something. But you have to DIY make these cables pretty much, because on eBay or Amazon, you're only able to get them without these 2 side brackets. And I personally don't want to go through the trouble of trying to hot glue it on there and stuff like that. I want my case to look nice and uniform. I want it to look like professional built it. And that's what we all look for in computers, honestly. We want something that's professionally built. That's why we like the pre-built units that CyberPower and all these other companies make. Personally, my first unit was a pre-built, and it was a bad decision. So I'm going to build my own. And of course, this case right here is just the beginning, but because of my lack of money, I do get a lot of money, but I spend it on other stuff, such as a car, which I recently got. But I'm going to have to complete this build in 2019 because of how much money it's going to cost. And before anybody asks, I'm not going to be using the 8086K. I'll wait for the 9700 or just use an 8700 because the 8086K is only 7% better. I really do like the design of this case, so I'm going to be building it in the reversed configuration. Most people would turn it around, but I kind of like it like this because it is going to be over there. There's going to be another table there, and there's going to be where this case sits. And I kind of just want to have it the way it is. I'm going to have it to the side just like this so that everybody can look inside it. And then I'm going to route all the cables to the back. But I like the air configuration here because, of course, you can have the 480mm radiator at the top. I'm not going to be putting a 480 in here. I'm probably just going to use an AIO. But personally, what I'd say for anybody who builds in this case, because they're going to be selling a lot because they're $75 on Newegg at the moment of this video, get a 280mm radiator and make it in a push-pull configuration, and then have it pulling up from this instead of pulling the air up from here, because at the bottom there's actually these feet to allow some air clearance, but if you do the push-pull here, it's going to be blowing in cool air rather than blowing in all the hot air that comes up from here, because the configuration I have it in, the GPUs are going to be sitting right here. I'll have one for a little bit, but the GPU is going to sit there, and it's going to blow all its air up. And, of course, that's not too good for an AIO, because that means it's going to be intaking hot air from the case. Simple logic, but good to know. Also, on the sides, the 240mm fans are really nice because they can cool your CD drives or hard drives, whichever. I mean, I don't think your CD drive's going to need much cooling, but it cools your hard drives that you have in here. What most people would do is get they actually have a CD drive RAID on Amazon which takes up 3 CD drives and gives you the option just like that right there. But then with that, you can actually set up RAID and stuff. And I actually have a server that's sitting on one of my shelves that hasn't been used, as 4 terabytes of storage in it, and that's spread across 4 1 terabyte hard drives. And so I'm going to be making this also my server. But it's a very nice consideration for what you're paying for this case. The case retailed for quite a bit back then, but it's going for a lot less now. And because of the price of it right now, it's almost the most effective case for bigger builders. There's a channel on YouTube that did a design in the Genesis. Can't remember what they're called, but designs by something. But I know that this case is very easy and fun to build in because of its expandability and its many fans that you can install. And fans are, of course, essential to a gaming build because they keep it cool. However, too many fans and it's too loud. But that's another thing. I don't have a clip of the demo on hand, but this case is really good at sound isolation. And so it's not going to be as loud as your other cases. It does a decent job at isolating the sound, and it does a decent job at keeping everything cool, even with its big size. And that is one quality that you're going to want to look for when you get bigger cases, such as some from Cooler Master or Silverstone or Thermaltake, whatever you take. But a lot of cases are noted for being big and light, or big and bulky, but not effective in sound isolation, which the whole reason you're getting a case that big is obviously because you want bigger components in there, or you want more fans, and having it be so much louder is such a big price to pay, which most people just say, put a pair of headphones on and ignore it. But that's like, there's a reference that Linus made about this. That's like, if your armpits smell, just cover them or something. I don't know, but you get the gist. It's something that shouldn't have to be ignored, and for me, I like having my sound system out in the room, but I also do like using a headset. And this case is just great for that all-around function, and I really think you should buy it. Now, why didn't I do a video of this on like Google Docs or something saying why you should buy it? 1, that's unprofessional. 2, I wanted to review the case. 3, I didn't want everybody to buy it before I did. Now, of course, no one's going to watch this video, but I'm alright with that. I just kind of want to improvise some of these people and give them a bit of guiding with this case and what they could use it for, because I honestly do think that they'd like this case. This is a very much older case, but some of the features are almost new for its time. So you know what? I hope that you can enjoy this case as much as I will whenever I complete my build. Thank you for watching if you did, and bye.